Oh, I know how to pronounce it. Hey y'all, my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today. And for this video, we're going to be doing my third quarter book haul and unhaul. Alright, before we get to anything bookish, make sure to hit like and subscribe down below, as well as tell me in the comments what is your advice for not buying any more books, because oh my gosh, looking at this, I need to go on a buying ban. It is pretty bad, guys. I mean, between buying, gifts, book boxes, this is pretty bad. I'll be honest. Okay, let's dive right in. So starting at the top, I've got The Prince of Redemption by Sean Carpenter. I was kindly sent this from Saga Press. Debut swashbuckling fantasy, which honestly right there, swashbuckling, definitely up my alley. This sounds like a woman who is on the run from her homeland, ends up kind of becoming a pirate. That sounds like a really good time to me. Then I have The Night Ends with Fire by KX Song, which Josh was very kind to buy for me. Absolutely stunning edition. I mean, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I can't wait to get to this one. I think this is a Mulan retelling, and that's kind of all I really know about it. That's all I want to know. It sounds perfectly up my alley. Between that and the fact that it is gorgeous, he did good. Also from Saga Press is Blackheart Man by Analo Hopkinson. Children are disappearing and an ancient invading army, long frozen in tar statues by island witches, are stirring to life, and the fearsome demon known as the Blackheart Man as well. I've never heard anybody talk about this one, but between the blurb and the cover, it did catch my eye, so I am very intrigued to try it out. Then I've got A Dark and Drowning Tide by Allison Saft, which I got from Aardvark Book Box. I am so excited for this one, especially off of how much I enjoyed A Farewell to Magic from Saft. I have a feeling this is going to be fantastic. I don't know too much about it, but I know it's dark academia. It is sapphic, and I'm pretty sure its rivals delivers. Pretty much all of that stuff is a buzzword for me, so I can't wait to read it. I also grabbed I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones from Aardvark. It was Stephen Graham Jones. That's literally all I needed to know in order to pick it up. I've heard it's kind of similar to one of his prior books that was written in a different format, and I think it's like interviews with a teenager who has been arrested. Be happy you weren't there. Be happy you're only reading about it. I have heard mixed things thus far, but I mean, his work tends to get mixed reviews, and thankfully I tend to enjoy it, so I have high hopes for this one. Also from Aardvark is Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. Chuck Tingle is such an interesting dude, but especially when I saw the title of this one, I knew I had to read it. I'm pretty sure it's about a TV show writer who is told that he needs to kill off his gay characters. Then I think the monsters from his horror movies start coming to life. I'm so intrigued. I've heard phenomenal things about this. I cannot wait to get to it. Fingers crossed I might in October. I know this video is coming out pretty late in October, but I'm still being hopeful. Attended the wonderful Rachel Harrison event in order to get So Thirsty, her newest book, which is about vampires and female friendship. So sweet and personalized, all of my books. She did a little reading and it definitely has me intrigued. I've heard mixed things about this thus far, but I'm still interested. It still sounds like a fun, weird time. Harrison's specialty is cozy horror, and I'm very excited for more of that, so hopefully I will also be getting to this one here soon. While at that event, I did go ahead and grab Black Sheep as well, so I could have her sign that one too. And the fact that she put a little pentagram has me very intrigued. I've heard a lot of mixed things on this one also. I guess to be fair, her stuff tends to be a little divisive too. I think this one's about a cult, about a woman who like left a cult and is now getting a wedding invite from like somebody in said cult, so she has to return home. That's all I really know. I've been told not to go into this one with too much knowledge, so I'm not gonna look for anything more, but I am excited one way or another. Of course, I had to go out and grab Compound Fracture by Andrew Joseph White. This was one of my anticipated releases, especially because it is another horror story from this author, and I loved their debut work, Hell Followed With Us. This one is following a trans autistic teenager who somebody tries to, and I think he's trying to investigate it, all set in the Appalachian Mountains. What really has me intrigued is the photos within. I'm not sure how they connect currently. I don't really want to do any more digging, but I can't wait to start this. I'm so intrigued. Yeah, these are in no sort of order at all, by the way. When I went on my girls' vacation, which I have a vlog, I'll put a link to that in the cards, I grabbed A Botanical Daughter, excuse me, by Noah Medlock, which I think is supposed to be kind of like a Frankenstein retelling, and it's also a queer historical romance mixed with that. I'm gonna be honest, it was the cover. The cover is what intrigued me. That's why I picked it up. When I grabbed Compound Fracture, I also grabbed Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. I know, y'all are so surprised. I'm sure you're more surprised about the fact that I haven't read this yet. I know. I'm not gonna say I'm in a slump. I'm not gonna put that into the universe, but I think I'm just like so mentally ready for scary books. I've been slowing down on all of their genres right now, and that's why I don't want to take a chance that that's going to damage my enjoyment of this. I still can't wait. It is the sequel to House on the Cerulean Sea. I'm so intrigued because I heard somebody say that after reading the author's note, it kind of explained why Klune decided to give Cerulean Sea a sequel. I can't wait to pick this one up, and it was the first edition, so it has these beautiful sprayed edges. So excited. Both of these together. My grandma's neighbor was getting rid of a bunch of books and he let me go through them for free. And so I grabbed the 𝗖cie, The Unfinished Tales of Numenor and Middle Earth by J.R. Tolkien. I've never seen these covers, but they are very pretty. I still have not gotten around to reading Lord of the Rings yet. I want to. I will. I've heard I need to start with that before I dare to try with this one. I've never actually heard anybody talk about these, so intrigued, and I see it that it has some commentary by who I imagine is his son, maybe? So I do have these on my shelf. Honestly, they will probably stay unread for quite some time, but I plan to read them, or try, at the very least, eventually. Okay, that's it for the stack on the ground. I grabbed Unbroken by C.L. Clarke from Half Price a while back. Honestly, this is because it's one of the like quintessential sapphic fantasy books. It's been a while since I've heard people talk about it, but those who have read it only had glowing things to say. It looks like we're following a woman who is a soldier who kind of joined the military out of desperation, and now she is forced to stop a rebellion in her homeland. And then we also have Luca, who needs a turncoat. That's a direct phrase. And she needs this person because her uncle is currently on the throne. I actually don't know a lot about this. Don't want to know much more. I'm intrigued. I don't need to start another series, but I will eventually. I also grabbed Brother Song by TJ Klune in this gorgeous Barnes & Noble exclusive edition to officially round out the Green Creek series with these new editions. This one probably in competition for my second favorite in the series. Raven Song's definitely my first, but I love Carter. I love Carter so much. He's a hot mess. What we see that dumbass's brain go through in this book, both amazing and terrible. Like, TJ Klune knows how to make you laugh and he knows how to make you cry, and he does both of those a lot in this book. When I read it the first time, I cried north of 20 times. No, I'm not exaggerating. I'll try and find the blog and link it in the cards. So yeah, I had to grab this one to officially round out the series with these beautiful new covers on my shelves. At one point or another, I went to Barnes & Noble and they were having a buy one get one sale, and I don't remember what the other book was that I bought, but the second one was Rouge by Mona Awad. I'd been waiting for this to come out in paperback. I loved this when I read my advanced reader copy, and I've been wanting to get my hands on a physical one. And since it was on sale, it just worked even better. This is a kind of a Snow White retelling, but it is a surrealist horror story with critiques of the beauty industry, and I ate this up. It was so freaking good. I cannot wait to reread it and annotate the crap out of it. It is awesome. Also, if you didn't know, so we got the rose on the cover, right? No, it's a jellyfish. Somebody had to point that out to me because I never put that together. I actually just posted a reading vlog of this next one, Haunted Ever After by Jen DeLuca, which was an anticipated releases vlog. I did go ahead and read this. It is the first in her new romance series, which is set in kind of like this touristy ghost town, basically, and Cassie has just recently moved there, unaware that her house is one of the most haunted of them all. It was a cute time. I think it's like the perfect transition from summer to fall book. It wasn't a fave, but I am excited to see what happens next in this universe because you could tell she was setting up a series. From Evernight Book Box, I got The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim, and I loved this book. It was so good. Unhinged woman. It was disgusting and grotesque, and yet I was also rooting for this character who develops a strange obsession with eating blue eyeballs. It was weird, but I loved it. Then at some point or another, I ordered Black Witch Magic by Mila Nix. This is for a video that might have come out. But this is following a young woman who is a witch and basically just trying to live a normal life in this small town. Unfortunately, her family has a bit of a reputation, and that has recently attracted a pair of paranormal investigators, one of which, Aiden, ends up unfortunately swooning over 𝗖cie while also investigating her grandmother, who is known as an evil witch. This was a cute, fun time. I hadn't really heard anybody else talk about it, so I definitely want to recommend it, especially since we're in October right now. If you want a cute witchy rom-com, here you go. Another one I grabbed from half price at some point or another was 𝗖cie by Meryl Woolsner, and this is mostly because I heard a lot of positive things about it last year when it came out. It is a sapphic, I guess you could say, workplace romance between these two soccer players, one of which is kind of like the new up-and-coming hot star, and the other who is a veteran of this team. I've heard this was funny, I've heard it was steamy, I heard it has good mental health representation, so I am very excited to get to it. Probably not right now, but eventually. One that I might get to here soon is Happy Medium by Sarah Adler. It is a paranormal romance in which we're following a woman who is a fake medium and is hired to commune with the ghosts at like a farm or something, but the caretaker of said farm thinks she's full of crap, that this isn't real, which obviously it's not, usually, but this time she actually does see a ghost. She actually can communicate with them. I've heard this was a fun, silly time, plus pretty cute. Hopefully, might be getting to it here soon. At the same half price books run for that one, I also grabbed The Art of Catching Feelings by 𝗖cie Thompson, which I recently found out is the same author as Love in the Time of Serial Killers, which I was really intrigued by, but I'd heard very mixed things about that one. This one though, I'm gonna be honest, it was the cover. Plus it's baseball, and that's like the one sport that I actually tend to enjoy the most. I'm gonna read you the tagline because that's all I really needed to see. A professional baseball player and his heckler prove that true love is worth going to bat for. Sounds like a silly cute time. Wow, we just like got all the romances in one go right here. I also have The Boyfriend Project by Farah Rashan. I think I initially picked this up off of Ray at Bookmark Chronicles recommendation. I believe each book is following a woman who, at the start of this one, all three of them are dating the same man. Eventually they all figure this out and they become friends, make a pact to not date anybody else, but of course the first main character ends up swooning over this new guy who's like working for her company or something like that. I just recently heard another positive review from a lady at my book club. Hopefully I will start the series soon after spooky season has passed. I think this is the book I grabbed at the same time as Rouge, and that is Let the Games Begin by Rafaru Faith Mazarara. I don't even remember who, but somebody praising this because it was like the perfect romance for when the Olympic Games were happening. It honestly kind of intrigued me because of the forced proximity. Fortunately, their first interaction is quite poor. So yeah, of course, that sounds like it's gonna be a fun time. Plus, again, forced proximity, one of my favorite tropes. Can't freaking wait. This one was a little out of place because we already talked about all the aardvarks, but I also grabbed The Truth According to Ember by Danica Nava from them. This one is a indigenous romance in which we're following a woman who, that's right, she ends up lying on her resume that she's not native and ends up landing a job, but unfortunately for her, that little white lie starts to snowball. And although she has a no dating policy for work, the IT guy, a fellow native, is quite hard to ignore. I'm very excited to get to this. I've only heard positive things thus far, so that makes me even more intrigued. Okay, next from Forever Publishing, I actually received The Worst Duke in London by Amalie Howard. Worked out perfectly, seeing as how this is an author that is going to be attending the Bunsen Romance Book Tea that I've been doing my TBR jar project about. That was kind of perfect. And I'm gonna tell you exactly why I requested this one from Forever. It's a Taming of the Shrew retelling, and the author said it is very heavily inspired by 10 Things I Hate About You, my favorite movie. So yeah, that was literally all I had to hear in order to request it. And then they also sent me one of the author's previous works, The Princess Stakes, which looks like it is actually a interracial Regency romance. So that's super cool, following Princess Sarani Rao, who has stowed away on a British ship out of India. Ooh, okay, this already sounds like a fun time. So like I said, worked out so freaking perfectly. Okay, we're kind of running out of room on the shelves. Is A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher, which I grabbed from Book of the Month. I think this is a Goose Girl retelling. Oh shoot, it doesn't actually say here. Pretty sure like our main character knows her mother is a villain and they like keep moving because terrible things happen in the villages they stay in or something like that. I heard a recent review from one of my librarians and he actually said it was really good. Plus it's T. Kingfisher. I loved the first book I read from her. I know her humor style is definitely up my alley, And the prior book was also a fairy tale retelling for my 5x5. So here's hoping I'll enjoy this one just as much. Oh, okay, we're on to the last stack. This next one is a gorgeous cover of Dracula by Bram Stoker, which my parents were kind enough to buy me at Bran Castle. Yeah, they recently went on vacation and the last stop was to Transylvania, so I asked if they could please grab me one of these, and it is a Penguin Classics edition, and it's so pretty. It has a little ribbon bookmark also. I can't wait. I'm definitely going to try and read this next year. Also on my girls trip, I ended up grabbing Close to Shore by Michael Capuzzo. Yes, ironically, while I was in Massachusetts, I bought a book about a historical event in New Jersey. I realized the irony, but it sounded interesting because it's actually the basis for Jaws. I did not know Jaws was based on a real event, so I'm definitely interested to hear about it. My last, actually, book of the month book is The Pairing by 𝗖cie mich𝘁. I know I'm not alone in having been very excited for this after Red, White, and Royal Blue, which I adored just like everybody else. I didn't mind One Last Stop, but so far I have heard a lot of positive things about this one. It is supposed to be quite spicy. This is following two exes who are actually on like a food and wine tour of Europe that they always wanted to do together. Obviously that didn't work out. And they end up running into each other accidentally. And I think there's like something about them making a bet of like who can sleep with more people or something. It sounds ridiculous, but I can't wait. I cannot wait to get into this. Oh, and these last two I also grabbed from Half Price at some point or another. These past few months have been really bad about buying books. So first is The Collected Regrets of Clover by Mickey Brammer. I heard a lot positive things about this like 2 or 3 years ago. I believe Clover is a death doula. I'm sure there's gonna be some heavy topics going on in this book, but I've also heard it's got some really beautiful lines in it and that it's very moving, so that's really why I was intrigued to pick it up. Plus I think I actually got it like even cheaper than $12.99. I think this might have been when I went in to like sell some books. Same time, I also grabbed Down Comes the Night by Alison Saft. This is her work prior to Far Wilder Magic, which my friend Allie had a lot to say about. Ooh, I don't think I've ever opened this. That's beautiful. Does it have anything on the cover? It does. It's kind of hard to see. I don't know if you can see that or not. So he saw the darkness in her magic. She saw the magic in his darkness. A snow-drenched romantic fantasy that keeps you racing through the pages long into the night. All I want to know, I'm pretty sure this recently got a new cover that definitely looks more like a romantic fantasy, but honestly, this is more gothic feeling and just more up my alley, so I'm glad I have the older version. Another one that I'm hoping I will love as much as A Far Wilder Magic. When it comes to unhauling, I only really have 3 books as of late, which is shameful, honestly. First up is Children of Anguish and Anarchy by Tomi Adeyemi. Actually, I guess I could grab the first 2 books in this series as well. I'm not gonna do this right now because that candle is lit. I think I'll officially unhaul this whole series. I talked about this in my September wrap up. Unfortunately, it was a very disappointing end of the series. I'm just gonna give up and I'm washing my hands of it. Unfortunately, it hurts, it's so pretty. And on a very similar note, Lady Macbeth by Ava Reed. I had this one in an anticipated releases video as well because I was so excited for it. I went and grabbed the first edition because it had these beautiful end pages and this cool cover, but unfortunately it just was not working for me. Even though I don't really know much about Macbeth as a story goes, it felt like it was taking elements from A Study in Drowning and amping them up to 10 without really adding any additional nuance to them, discussion around why that was happening. It wasn't for me. And I'm so sad still. I'm sure this one's not really surprising if you watched my 𝗖cie heç𝘁 taste test, but I'm gonna be getting rid of A Starling House. This author's work is not for me. I'm basically just gonna point you in the direction of that video because it's pretty much me ranting for like the whole 20 minutes. Officially getting rid of this one now that that video has been completed. And on that note, that is it. That is so many books, guys. Like I said, please give me your advice for book buying bans in the comments. I desperately need it. But along with that, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, let's go ahead and leave, let's do a moon emoji in the comments. That sounds good. All right, and on that note, that is it for today, y'all. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. I have all my socials as well as a few ways you can support me linked in the description. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!